Good afternoon and many thanks for joining us on BeeTv News Update at 12. My name is Harmony Agbafor and now to the news in details. The Edo State Independent Electoral Commission, EDSEC, has presented certificates of return to councillors elect in Saturday's councillorship by-election. BeeTv News' Osarogia Agwebo reports that the chairman of the commission, Honorable Jonathan, who was represented at the ceremony, presented the certificate of return to the councillors elect at the commission's headquarters along Airport Road, Benin City.
I thank you for being part of this historic moment. Thank you and God bless. The certificate of return symbolizing the official recognition of your election was, as mandated by the Edo State Independent Electoral Commission, EDSEC, of the people. I congratulate each of you on your successful election and commend your commitment to serving your constituents. Please receive your certificate of return and may you discharge your duties with integrity, wisdom, and dedication to the service of our great state. Now we are going to call you one after the other on this place. I return to you. Congratulations. Congratulations. I hereby present the certificate of return to you. Congratulations.
Look, this side, please. Yeah, good.
Yeah. I hereby present the certificate of return to you. Congratulations. I hereby present the certificate of return to you. Congratulations.
This way, please. Good, good. Yeah, good.
I hereby present the certificate of return to you. Congratulations.
The councillor representing Oredo Ward 7, Honorable Gabriel Iduseri, has emerged as the new acting chairman of Oredo local government area. His emergence follows the unanimous nomination and adoption by the newly elected councillors of the local government who were sworn in on Monday. The Oredo Local Government Council new acting chairman, Honorable Gabriel Iduseri, expressed his appreciation to Governor Opegbolo for the opportunity to serve. He pledged to eradicate street trading, indiscriminate parking of vehicles, and improper dumping of refuse, while promising effective representation for the people of Oredo local government area.
Honorable Engineer Gabriel Iduseri, do solemnly swear and affirm that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to the Federal Republic of Nigeria, that as acting chairman, I will discharge my duty to the best of my ability, faithfully and in accordance with the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and the law, and always in the interest of sovereignty, integrity, and solidarity, well-being and prosperity of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Dutch police used tear gas and water cannon to disperse violent anti-immigration protesters in The Hague. 30 people were arrested and 2 officers injured as a large group of people clashed with police, with some throwing rocks and bottles. The report is presented by Best Orator.
Around 1,500 people blocked a highway crossing the city while a police car was set on fire. Prime Minister Dick Schoof condemned the shocking and bizarre images of shameless violence, saying it was completely unacceptable. Right-wing leader Geert Wilders, who won the previous election in the Netherlands and has retained his lead in opinion polls ahead of the 29th October vote, was invited to speak at the demonstration but did not attend. Instead, he also condemned the violence against police as utterly unacceptable, saying it was the work of idiots. The protest was organized by right-wing activists demanding stricter migration policies and a clampdown on asylum seekers. Violence erupted when large groups of protesters, many waving Dutch flags and flags associated with far-right groups, confronted security forces. Protesters also smashed the windows of the headquarters of the center-left DCC party, viewed by many on the far right as a party that serves as a progressive elite. DCC leader Rob Jettin said the damage inside was extensive and told the protesters to stay away from the police parties. Nobody was present in the DCC offices at the time of the protest. The Dutch government collapsed in June after Wilders withdrew his far-right PVV party from the governing coalition following a row over migration. The dispute came after Wilders pushed for 10 additional asylum measures, including a freeze on applications, halting the construction of reception centers, and limiting family reunification. The governing coalition was in place for less than 1 year. Best Orator reporting for BeeTv News.
In a related development, Honorable Eric Sino Osawaru, councillor representing Ward 10, has been sworn in as the acting chairman of Ikpobaoka local government area after majority of the councillors representing the wards supported the motion for him to be in acting capacity. Honorable Eric Sino Osawaru was appointed acting chairman following the resignation of Honorable Jolly Obosa Oweide Obosa, who was before now acting chairman of the local government. The councillors representing the various wards were on Monday sworn in after they received their certificate of retirement from EDSIEC. Details of this report will be brought to you subsequently. The police in Malawi have arrested 8 people for alleged electoral fraud as the country waits for the final results of Tuesday's general election. Inspector General Merlin Yolamu said the suspects, who were working as data entry clerks, had been trying to manipulate the figures. BeeTv News' SOL Semwige has the details.
Malawi's 2019 election was marred by controversy when the highest court annulled then-President Peter Mutharika's victory, citing widespread irregularities. As a result, Malawi's Electoral Commission is on high alert for any potential issues. Official tallies so far suggest Mutharika is leading the race for the presidency, with incumbent Lazarus Chakwera in second place. In the meantime, Chakwera's Malawi's Congress Party said it had lodged a complaint with the Electoral Commission, claiming to have discovered irregularities in the count. Officials did not specify what those irregularities were. A second party, the United Democrat Front, has also announced that it has filed a formal complaint alleging serious irregularities in multiple tallying centers. Its presidential candidate, 12PM Muluzi, did not provide evidence at a press conference on Saturday, but said that it had been sent to the Electoral Commission. The commission is expected to announce the outcome of the election only after all votes have been tallied and verified in order to avoid the possibility of the final result being challenged. According to law, the Electoral Commission has until the end of Wednesday to announce the final tallies. In 2019, when Mutarika's victory was annulled, a court said there had been widespread tampering, including the use of tip-S correction fluid on result sheets. Chakwera, 70, won the rerun by a wide margin, propelling him to the presidency. Mutarika, 85, is hoping to regain office in what would be a dramatic political comeback. Malawans also voted in parliamentary and local elections following a campaign dominated by the worsening economic crisis that has seen a severe shortage of fuel and foreign currency. The official inflation rate is close to 30%, with a frozen chicken in a supermarket in the capital, Lilongwe, costing about £20, $20, £15, in a nation where most people live on $2 a day or less. Soher Osemegi, reporting for BeeTv News.
California's governor has signed a bill to ban local and federal law enforcement officers, including with U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, from wearing face masks while on duty. The report.
The ban, which comes into effect on 1st January 2026, is part of a series of bills that aims to protect residents from what Democratic Governor Gavin Newsom has called secret police roaming the streets. U.S. Attorney B. Esali, a Trump appointee, said California has no jurisdiction over the federal government, adding that the law has no effect on the operations and agents will continue to protect their identities. The ban is in response to federal agents wearing masks during Los Angeles immigration raids. The law makes exceptions for underground agents, masks used to protect against disease or wildfires, and tactical gear. President Donald Trump has ramped up immigration enforcement as a priority in his second term. In June, a series of federal immigration raids in Los Angeles sparked violent protests against the Trump administration and ICE. Trump deployed 700 U.S. Marines and 4,000 National Guard troops to the country's second largest city in reaction to the arrest. California State Senator Scott Wiener, a Democrat who represents San Francisco, wrote the bill in response. No one wants masked officers roaming their communities and kidnapping people with impunity, he said. He said California will continue to stand for the rule of law and for basic freedoms. The legislation comes after the Supreme Court ruled that immigration enforcement stops in LA could continue for the time being without officers needing reasonable suspicions that a person may not be in the U.S. legality. The ruling allows officers to question and detain people based solely on their race, language, or job, while a legal challenge to recent immigration raids works its way through the court. As well as the ban of face covering, a new bill also requires law enforcement officers to identify themselves while conducting duties by both name and badge number. Other bills signed by Newsom prohibit school officials and employees from allowing federal agents conducting immigration enforcement to enter school sites without a warrant, court order, or judicial subpoena. Families will also need to be informed when officers arrive at their children's schools. Student information and classrooms are also protected under these new laws. Non-public areas of hospitals and emergency rooms are also off limits to officers who do not have judicial warrants or court orders. This is not the first time local officials have challenged the White House. In August, the mayor of Chicago signed an order detailing how the city will resist a potential immigration crackdown threatened by Trump's administration. Best Orator reporting for BeeTv News.
President Donald Trump has called on the country's top law enforcement official, Attorney General Pam Bondi, to more aggressively investigate his political adversaries. In a social media post addressed directly to Bondi, he said they can't delay any longer as it is killing their reputation and credibility. Trump expressed frustration that nothing is being done before calling on Bondi to investigate former FBI Director James Comey, New York Attorney General Letitia James, and Democratic Senator Adam Schiff, who oversaw his first impeachment trial. Shortly after, he posted again to praise Bondi, who he said was doing a great job. His statement was roundly criticized by Democrats, including Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, who said this is the path to a dictatorship. He said the Justice Department has always been a very, very strong civil service, no matter who was in charge, a Democrat or Republican. Then they went after law violators without fear or favor. During his election campaign, Trump promised to seek revenge against many of his perceived political enemies, including former President Joe Biden and others who have opposed him. He has revoked the security clearances which allows people to access classified material of several officials, including James and Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg, who brought the criminal hush money case. He has fired several prosecutors who worked for Special Counsel Jack Smith on 2 criminal probes against him. He has also taken actions against law firms with attorneys who were involved in investigations into allegations against him, including the firm that employed former Special Counsel Robert Mueller. U.S. President Donald Trump hailed the conservative activist Charlie Kirk as a great American hero and martyr during a speech to tens of thousands of mourners at a memorial service in Arizona. Trump was the headline speaker at the packed event on Sunday, which saw top officials from his administration, Vice President J.D. Vance, praise Kirk's political legacy after he was shot dead on the 10th of September. The reports. U.S. President Donald Trump said he was assassinated because he lived bravely, he lived boldly, and he argued brilliantly. Trump told the crowd at the State Farm Stadium near Phoenix. Kirk's wife, Erica, also delivered a tearful speech in which she said she had forgiven her husband's alleged killer. Tens of thousands of people queued for hours outside the stadium before the event, with some even camping out the night to secure their spots. Many wore Make America Great Again MAGA hats, other Trump-branded items, and red, white, and blue outfits.
Goodwill store. It wasn't easy, but Charlie wasn't in it for money at all, never has been. Money was never his thing. He was always in it for the mission. As he liked to say even back then, we have a country to save. Just what he did. He'd call me all the time, sir, we have a country to save. I said, Charlie, thanks very much for telling me that. I appreciate it. Charlie volunteered for my 2016 campaign and traveled the nation with my son, Don, and Eric. I got to know him very well and saw immediately that Charlie was actually a master builder of people. It was Charlie who first started organizing young black conservatives hungry for support and leadership.
Them to have a home with Turning Point USA. And when he went onto campus, he was looking to show them a better path and a better life that was right there for the taking. He wanted to show them that. My husband, Charlie, he wanted to save young men just like the one who took his life. That young man, on the cross, our Savior said, Father, forgive them, for they not know what they do. That man, that young man, I forgive him.
Inside the stadium, the mood and atmosphere resembled a raucous political rally or mega church service with music beforehand from Christian bands who prompted sing-alongs and prayers from the crowd of almost 100,000. The list of speakers included members of Kirk's organization, Turning Point USA, which focuses on conservative activism on college campuses, well-known figures in the conservative movement, Trump administration officials, and those who said they had been shaped by Kirk's work and right-wing Christian worldview. They stressed the need to continue the 31-year-old activisms and emphasized his deep faith throughout the 5-hour service. Kirk, who was debating students at a university in Utah when he was shot dead, was repeatedly described as a martyr and cast a historic figure for the conservative movement. Several speakers said they believed his death would further revitalize the conservative movement in America, which is already in a powerful position given Trump's hold of the White House and the Republican control of Congress. The day that Charlie died, angels wept, but those tears have been turned into fire in our heart, said Stephen Miller, the White House Deputy Chief of Staff. Our enemies cannot comprehend our strength. At one stage, Elon Musk, who had a bitter and public falling out with Trump earlier this year, sat next to the president and the pair shook hands and chatted. He later posted a picture of them together with the caption, "For Charlie." Within the stands and on stage at the State Farm Stadium, Kirk was revered as an activist for free speech and a mobilizer of the youth vote for Trump. Charlie didn't just help, he made a winning difference. I promise you that, White House Chief of Staff Susie Wiles said. Harmony Agba for reporting for BeeTv News. The UK Ministry of Defence has confirmed that British fighter jets flew their first sorties over Poland overnight as part of the Allied response to Russian threats in European airspace. 2 RAF Typhoons were deployed just hours after Russian MiGs appeared over Estonia, with their transponders turned off. The Estonian foreign minister and the Russian incursions were a reckless and brazen attempt to intimidate the Baltic states. NATO will meet early next week to agree a further response. The report. Revoked a total of 1,263 mineral licenses due to non-compliance with statutory obligations. The breakdown includes 584 exploration licenses, 65 mining leases, and 144 quarry licenses, and 470 small-scale mining leases as well. These titles are being removed from the electronic minor cadastral system portal operated by the Nigerian Mining Cadastral Office, MCO. Let's join BeeTv News SOL Semwige for details and more from this.
The revocation followed recommendations from the MCO after affected licenses failed to pay their mandatory annual service fees, which serve as a minimum requirement for license validity. The action is aimed at removing speculative and inactive operators from the mining sector to make way for serious investors. The MCO had initially identified 1,957 devoting titles when it published a notice of revocation in the federal government Gazette. A 30-day compliance window was provided in line with the Minerals and Mining Act 2007. The final revocation list was compiled after reconciling payment, and only titles without verifiable payment evidence were revoked. This action brings the total number of mineral titles revoked under the current administration to 3,794. This includes 619 titles revoked for non-payment in the previous year and 912 revoked for dormancy. The revocation does not cancel the debts held by the 14 companies. Their information will be forwarded to the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC) for debt recovery and possible legal action. The ministry has reiterated that the exercise is designed to create transparency, restore investor confidence, and strengthen regulatory compliance in the solid mineral sector. Dangote Group has reported that the Nigerian Union of Petroleum and Natural Gas Workers is imposing additional charges ranging between 48,000 and 50,000 on each truck loading fuel at its refinery. Total charges incurred per truck reportedly reached up to 84,000 when all associated levies are included. These charges are being passed on to end users and are contributing to increased prices of petroleum products nationwide. The Dangote Group has stated that such practices are unsustainable and pose risk to supply chain efficiency. In response, the company has deployed 4,000 compressed natural gas power trucks to distribute petroleum products across Nigeria. This investment is part of the company's strategy to reduce dependence on third-party transporters, lower distribution costs, and support Nigerians' energy transition goals. Industry experts have raised concerns about the legal basis for such union-imposed charges and have called on the federal government to initiate investigations. They recommend the establishment of a regulatory framework that balances labor rights with operational efficiency and consumer protection. Airtel Africa has identified more than 205 million spam SMS messages across 13 of its 14 operational markets through its artificial intelligence-powered spam alert service. The tool, which is free to all subscribers, automatically flags suspicious messages and labels them with spam alert in real time, eliminating the need for additional spam patterns based on sender behavior, frequency of messages, and order metadata. The initiative supports Airtel Africa's commitment to enhancing network security, improving user experience, and supporting safer digital communication environments across the continent. That is the size of our business news package. For now, I am Esohe Osemeki, reporting for BeeTv News.
And that's the size of the package for the